Okay, so today we're going to be replacing the cover on a Nokia 6300. These are not a bad phone, but sometimes they get scratched and you might want to replace it just because the colour's a bit boring. Okay, let's get started. Okay, well, to begin with we're going to be replacing them, and you need to buy a cover. I got this from Deal Extreme for a few pounds. That's my old case there, which obviously is a bit scratched, and I replaced it with a pink case, which I think is pretty funky myself. Most of them do not come with a keypad, however some do. Okay, what else you will need is a T6 hexagonal screwdriver. These are relatively easy to get from the internet. You can get them for about £9, or from eBay you can get them for about £3, so I recommend you get one from there. These will unlock the screws that you'll need to do later on, but be careful with them, so they're quite small and also they can be damaged. First things first, we're going to take the back cover off. How you do this is a bit tricky to begin with, but what you do is you push it nearest the camera, which is this part here, and then you push it down and it will click. At this point you pull it from the bottom end and you slide it up, which removes it. It's a bit stiff to begin with, but once you've given it a few tries it'll be relatively easy to take off. Okay, after this we're going to work on the actual front cover. So now we're going to get started with that. When you open up the cover, you'll notice there are two screws. What we're going to do is unscrew these. Be careful not to damage the screws. These screws hold the front cover in place. Once these are screwed, we are then able to unclip the front fascia and in turn replace it with our spankly new one. Be careful not to damage the screws. They can be easily damaged if you're rough to them because they're so small and have so many tiny ridges. This is when I unscrew them, and I put the screws to one side to ensure that they don't get damaged or lost. They're not very easy to find. Now that the screws have been removed, we can unclip the front fascia. This can be done by sliding a fingernail underneath, but if this is an issue for you, then you can use the edges of 2 credit cards. Additionally, I know some 6300 replacement kits come with a flat edge tool for removal. However, if you slide whatever you are using between the plastic and the metal, then it will be unclipped and be released from the phone's casing. Once this is done, you're left with 2 fascias, a front and a back, and a keypad. These 3 parts will then be replaced. Obviously you're going to swap cases, but I'm just putting my same one on just for ease of use. Okay, right, from this point what I'm going to do is put the front keypad onto the front fascia. This means that I won't have to fiddle around with the front bit on the phone, and I can just lock it into place. I then firmly grab the plastic and I press it against that. This will then click into place. Press it down until it clicks. It might not click on every one, but it should make some noise and you'll know when it's done, because there won't be any space between the plastic and the metal. Now that this is clicked into place, then you can screw it back on. Again, be careful with the screws and make sure that they're done up nice and tightly to secure the front fascia and the keypad don't slip. It may also be a good idea at this time to use a cotton bud to remove any dust from the innards of the phone to keep it in tip-top condition. Hopefully you won't have to unscrew it again for a while. Now that the front cover is securely on, we can add the third and final part of the outer casing, the battery cover. This is placed on like before, lined up with the phone by a sliding motion before being clicked down into place. It will click when it's in the right place, but don't force it, otherwise you might damage the plastic of the battery cover. Then ensure that everything is in place by looking at the phone. Does it look right to you? If it's not, then keep trying. It's not that hard to replace, and with a few goes it will become really easy for you. Turn it on to see if it works, because sometimes the battery can move slightly, which will mean that the phone will not turn on. However, with a couple of goes it should be absolutely fine. Thank you very much for watching my tutorial, and hopefully I'll see you soon.